Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central, and this week I'm talking about fall and I'm talking about 23 years, and I'll explain that in a moment. It's fall in this part of the world, so if you're in this part of the world where you have fall at this time, welcome to fall, my favorite season of the year. And fall is also the time that I started L.T.L Tutoring Central back in 1996. So it's been 23 years since I started the tutoring business, and I've been tutoring students full-time ever since then. In the very beginning, of course, I didn't have any students at first, but I did get a few students late in 1996. And by the middle or the fall of 1997, business was picking up quite well. And so it really didn't take long to get a lot of in-person students, because at the time there were computers around, but we didn't have a computer, and a lot of them were slow. They were still relatively new, and there wasn't a lot or any online tutoring that I was aware of. And so all of my students were in-person students. It wasn't actually at this location. We were at a different location. We've been here with the big table behind me since 2003. And you can see I'm in the middle of doing a lot of things today. There are students coming later again. And I had a student this morning because I do adult students as well. So in 23 years, I've had all kinds of students. I've had students as young as 4, and I've had students, adult students. One was very proud to talk about being over 70 years old. So that's the range. It's a fairly wide range. However, most of my students in person are high school or grade school students, and online I have some high school and grade school students, but a lot of adult students. So it's a little bit different for me from my in-person to my online. Online, I have courses that students can take and do most everything. Well, they can do everything on their own if they like, or they can send in a few assignments. I also have online lessons and courses in which there's a lot more contact with me. So they're asynchronous courses and synchronous courses, technically. And I've had students in Japan, Australia, the United States. The online courses that students do on their own, there are students in well over 100 countries. So that's quite exciting when you think we didn't even have a computer when we started the business, and all of my monthly reports for my in-person students were typed on my old electric typewriter, which I still have and brought out to show some students who had never seen an electric typewriter before. And it still works, but it needs a new ribbon. It's been in storage for a while. I've had students with difficulties, both academically and in terms of behavior. I've had a lot of students who've had confidence issues, and that is a big part of learning challenges for young students and adult students alike. Believing in yourself and feeling that you can do whatever it is, whether it's math or English, writing. Once you start to get that belief, it's surprising how quickly the academics change also. So I teach both the academic side of it, what I call the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s, but a major part of my tutoring business is encouraging and motivating students and helping them to learn how to learn, and also to learn that they can learn, that they can have the confidence to succeed, and that's a really big piece. I've always believed that there's more to learning than sitting down, reading a book, listening to the teacher, regurgitating the material, the end. That's not the way I run the tutoring business. It's not what I believe education should be. And so it's been great fun working with all different kinds of students. Admittedly, some of them come for their free information meeting, sit at the table, put their head on the table, say, I don't want to be here. That first meeting is not always wonderful. Mind you, other students bound down the stairs ahead of their parents. They've never met me before, and they just start talking right away. So all different personalities, of course. And but what I have found is that with all students, if they stick with it long enough, meaning at least a few months, they will see improvement. Sometimes people ask for guarantees. I can't guarantee you're going to move from a D to an A. I can't guarantee that your math scores are suddenly going to rise to 92%, for example. I would be lying. Anyone would be lying to guarantee that. How could I do that? Especially if I don't even know the student yet. There's no way I can do that. They're not widgets. They're human beings. And as I say, it takes a lot more than just the mechanical learning piece. But what I can guarantee is that if they try and they stick with it long enough, normally it only takes a couple of months to start seeing improvement, but sometimes it takes a lot longer. It depends how challenged the student is. But you will see improvement, and sometimes you will see enormous improvement, amazing improvement, and sometimes it's a shock. You go a long time with almost nothing, and then boom, all of a sudden Johnny's reading or doing math questions on his own. So it's quite astounding sometimes, and other times it's a bit of a slow burn, but they improve and improve and improve. If you don't try, you won't improve. That's a guarantee. I can also guarantee that. If there's no effort, no trying, then obviously you're not going to go anywhere. I've had students with really strange quirks, some odd, normally harmless, but a little bit odd. One thing I mentioned in the blog is that almost every student seems to want to attack the erasers. I don't know why they hate erasers, but poking them with pencils and breaking them. It's been a struggle to keep decent erasers on the table behind me. Strangely, some of them, when they finally learn not to sort of laugh and joke about the others who do, but hey, you did it too. Almost everyone seems to do it. Sometimes they do it without even noticing and say, stop doing that. And so that's semi-interesting, I guess. Not sure what that's about, but I've had, but all of my students, sometimes they're not always thrilled with what we're doing or what I'm asking them to do, because it is work and there is some effort that you have to put into it, but they seem to enjoy the connection, the personal connection in terms of learning, and they do begin, even the most reluctant ones, begin to recognize that there's value in having knowledge. And yes, sometimes school can be tedious, and you will have teachers that are difficult for you. Not everyone's a great fit, but it's the education that you want. It's the education that's the value. It's something that you can take with you and do something with in the future. So I've had students who've crawled under the table and tried to lift the table. That was a young 5-year-old, I believe, and he wanted to show how strong he was. I've had students who wouldn't look at you for a month just because they were so shy, but eventually get around to it, or don't speak, and then all of a sudden you can't get them to stop speaking. So you have and teenagers, of course, which I deal with, and they can be quite moody at times. They can have difficulties, but patience is a big part of teaching or tutoring. And you need to understand that I don't know what's happened during the day in that student's life unless he or she decides to tell me. And so there could be something that I'm just not aware of. Now, on the other hand, I talk to them and tell them, if you really want me to understand, you have to sometimes explain to me what's going on. And often, once we get to know one another, they're very keen, actually, on letting me know what's been happening, both academically and otherwise. And just talking it out can sometimes be very helpful as well, and that can settle things down enough that they can focus on their studies. So I might be rambling a little bit here, but it's been a great 23 years. I'm looking forward to the next 23. Why am I doing this at 23 and not 25 or 20 or 30? I don't know. I just decided that 23 years seems like a lot of time, and I've enjoyed it, and I was writing a blog, and I thought, this is what I want to write about this week. This is what I want to talk about, is having done this since 1996, and It's been so enjoyable to see the changes in terms of technology, teaching online, being able to see and work with people from any country, as well as maintaining or retaining the students that I have here in person, which I still really enjoy. So I like both. Some prefer one over the other. I like both, probably because I started with in-person tutoring. So why not be the next student for the next 23 years? Students are still coming, of course, right now, but you could be the new one. And let me know. I will put a link below for the website and for the blog, of course. And you can get in touch with me through Facebook, of course, email. Check out the website, and contact information is there as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video if you do, leave a comment or a question, because I'm always interested in hearing from my students, but also from potential learners or parents who are trying to help their children get through the school system, or of course adults, sometimes the parents themselves, who want a little help with their own learning and their own educational road and reaching their goals. Check out the blog. It's a little different than the video, and has a couple of funny little stories in it. And that's it for this week. I look forward to the next 23 years, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. It's Ron from L.T.L. Tutoring Central. Don't forget to subscribe or ring the notification bell. Talk to you later. Bye for now.